I could talk about the baby announcement, which is not embarrassing.
What? Oh, wait, whose? Carlos's?
Not me.
Come on, Elliot.
So you're like, what?
Jesus, talk about a fucking world exclusive. That would have been amazing. God damn it.
No. My cousin Carlos. Though his is good enough for me and him for the next couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
True.
And welcome to episode 34 of Rather Be Playing, the podcast where we talk about how we'd rather be playing games than
changing 2 sets of diapers every day, all the time.
Whoa.
I'm Josh.
I'm Elliot.
And I'm Stevo.
And so, Elliot,
let me dive into this super quick.
Yeah,
because that sounds
quickly.
like I'm having kids. I'm not having kids, but my awesome cousin Carlos, who was on the show once, has recently found out his wife will be having 2 babies.
This is so exciting, man. Congratulations to Carlos and his good lady wife. That is amazing.
Yeah, identical twins, and they're the first babies of our families, like my and my brother and cousin's generation. So they'll be the next ones to come after, and a whole lot of excitement.
He's gonna have to like work on his upper body so that he can balance the babies on his pecs while he's playing video games on a controller. You know, he's gonna have to get really beef and biceps to hold them in on either side as well.
He is. He's got his work cut out for him. I don't know how he's gonna play any games, but
I hear babies sleep sometimes.
It's true.
If you're very, very lucky.
He's going to be awake all the time anyway, so during the times the babies are... Once he's done changing the diaper, then he can go play a game for a bit before it cries again. Be good to go.
Good point.
At the end of the day, he's got a Switch, so I think he'll be covered.
I think so.
I think that's all you need. If Eric's experience with his young daughter is any indication, the Switch comes in super handy.
True. The Switch is the way forward.
That is for that ever necessary quiet private toilet time.
yeah. Well, that too. Poor Carlos is gaming, but I'm sure that having 2 babies will make up for it.
Yes.
That was our Thanksgiving, by the way.
Oh, that's excellent, man.
Super happy, exciting family time. How about you guys? Have a good holiday?
Yeah, it's pretty good, I guess. We just had a couple of my wife's friends over for Thanksgiving. I had to make 2 turkeys, one for like a potluck thing for her work, and then one for actual Thanksgiving. So got a lot of cooking in during that time. But it was all right. Hung out. We played some. Her friend really wanted to play Seen It, that DVD trivia game thing.
Oh, yeah. How is
like
that?
Pop culture.
Huh.
It's fine, except, I don't know, it's like the initial first version of it. So the instructions are not easy to follow. Well, it also didn't help that we didn't find the instruction page until about an hour later. So we started off by using the instructions that come on the DVD, and the way it explains it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So we just kind of played trivia for a while until we figured that out.
So it wasn't up to the usual Jackbox standard, no?
No. So we played Jackbox after.
Well, at least that probably saved things, right?
So yeah. But it was good, and for Christmas we're gonna fly out east to see you guys, and see my family, but you guys will be there.
You're coming out to see us specifically.
I know
your family happens to be here, but whatever.
It's true. But we'll be out there, so hopefully we'll get to drop in. Maybe we'll do a live episode.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait to see both of you. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's when was our last live episode?
Oh,
it was earlier this year at some point.
It was when I came out last. So
it's all. Yeah.
The hell was that? I don't even remember.
Sometime
in the summer.
We do one at least once a year. I think we can confidently say that.
It's true. We've done 3 now, I think. So
yeah.
Guys. Yeah.
But how about you, Stevo?
My Thanksgiving was fantastic. My little niece and nephew entertained us the whole time. One of the highlights, going around the table, asking what you're thankful for this year, as you do,
Mhm.
you know, in the American spirit of things. You know, I'm assimilating, lads.
There you go.
Asking my little 2-year-old nephew, what's he thankful for? And he's like, I'm thankful for looking around dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, sir. That's a winner. That's a winner. Well played. Well played, lad.
What are the odds he picked the same thing I did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, top stuff. Top stuff.
Yeah, man. He loves those fossil fuels. That's clearly what he was getting at.
That's true.
So what else has been going on since we recorded last, lads? Shit, has anyone got Overcooked 2 yet? Oh no, because we don't buy games anymore, except for Josh's nephew.
Yeah.
Did he buy it?
Except for, yeah.
Overcooked 2? No, he actually left his Switch on a bus, so he doesn't have a Switch right now.
No.
What the-
Yeah.
So you have no excuses for him buying you Switch games anymore, right?
Well, he doesn't buy any Switch games for me. He bought PS games.
Ah, okay. Wait, what about Valkyria Chronicles 4 or what was the other one you got? Oh, Dragon Quest you had pre-ordered.
And that's PlayStation.
Oh, you got that on PlayStation as well. Oh.
It's not on Switch yet.
Yeah.
It's coming at some
Yeah.
point, according to Square Enix, but
Yeah. Well, actually, it's... Oh, maybe that was Valkyria Chronicles 1 that was on sale that I saw. Okay, yeah. No, but
Just-
he did pick up Red Dead Redemption 2. I figured he would.
Ah.
So, considering I went through and just plowed through Red Dead Redemption 1 a few months ago, I was like, well, guess I can dive in now.
Good work,
And
good work.
Holy crap, it's awesome. It's insanely better than the first one. I think I complained about the first one on the podcast a couple episodes ago, or maybe it was the last one, but like where nothing really happens for 90% of the game. In this
That's
one,
true.
there's like constantly things that are happening. And like, yeah, you still kind of go through the progression of, you know, do this tiny mission in order to get to some bigger thing, but you actually feel like you're making progress as you do these little story missions there along the way.
Well, that's good. Josh, I gotta drop a bombshell at this point. I've
What?
got this fucking game too.
I know.
So I think we left off again. We've left a bit of a gap since the last time we recorded here. We're gonna be better. New Year's resolutions and all that. We're gonna start recording on a bi-weekly schedule again. I'd say fortnightly, but then I'm a weird Irish person.
I'd
I think-
say PUBG nightly.
oh god.
No.
Oh god.
Oh no.
No, I mean it's same team also says fortnightly, so we can't ape that.
It's
That's
true.
theirs. They've trademarked Fortnite.
But
theirs.
No,
but
they didn't. Epic did.
But I think way back when, our last episode that went up, one of you alluded to it right at the end of the cast that somebody might be buying this for me, which you were right. It looks
Mhm.
fantastic. The opening scene where you're rolling into the new town. Oh, sorry, it's not. It must be the opening of the second chapter when
Yes.
you're going to the first camp that you're staying
Yeah.
at, and just the hills and the scenery and everything's so bright and vibrant. I could hardly believe I was playing it on Xbox One, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, which I guess if you haven't been paying attention to the game's been released this year, Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place as like a prequel to Red Dead Redemption 1. As in the first game, you play as John Marston, his time after this gang has gone through all these trials and tribulations, and he's trying to, you know, clean up the mess, basically. Whereas this game takes place during the heyday of that gang he was a part of, and you play as one of his gang member buddies, Arthur Morgan, and his like progress through how everything happens with the gang. And it's awesome. The game controls like a brick, but it's awesome.
Yeah, so that's the
Sounds
first thing I would ask you about it, Josh. Like, did you enjoy it from the first moment? Because I found it a bit slow, a bit sluggish.
The first chapter's kind of slow. You do a few things, but it's just trying to introduce you to these people. And yeah, like I don't know what, I think once I hit chapter 2 is when it really started to grip me, and you finally get the camp, and you could sit down and actually talk to all the different gang members and see how they're doing periodically and how they're reacting to events in the world.
Yeah. And I do like that it takes time for the quiet moments like that. I've only had one of those so far where you actually have the option to just sit down next to someone and have a conversation with them. And it's some really brilliant storytelling. I'm really eager to jump through a lot of the Rockstar gameplay just to get to more of those moments.
Yeah, I mean, gameplay similar to the first Red Dead. It's relatively brain dead in shootouts. You go into Deadeye, you shoot the guy, you make sure you just keep your Deadeye and health up, and you're fine.
Flick L1 to pull up your gun, flick R1, or L2 and R2, yeah.
Yeah, nothing too insanely complex. There's a whole bunch of side things you could do, like hunting animals or shooting challenges and things like that. And those are kind of fun to do here and there. But the characters and the story and the music and just the way the game looks, everything else just kept me going. No matter, I mean, yes, I probably spent most of my time running my horse into a tree accidentally, but but actually seeing how everything evolves over time as with the gang, holy crap, it's good. It's really good. And I know we're going to cover the Game Awards later, but I can totally see why, what's his name? The guy who plays Arthur Morgan. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank right now. All of a sudden, Roger Clark. He plays Arthur Morgan and does the voice acting. I can see why he won for best performance because it's really good. I took some warming up to Arthur. When the game first started, I was kind of like, okay, this guy seems kind of bland and whatever,
he totally seems like that blank slate on which you're meant to project, how you want to play him.
It gets exponentially better. It's so good by the end of the game.
I've heard that, great. Yeah. And John, especially coming after John Marston, who's such a great character.
Yeah.
To that blank slate, I've heard is just ugh. But then,
yeah. See, I don't know. I don't really think that. It's not that John Marston's a bad character to me. I just don't. I don't know. I think he was more of the circumstances surrounding John Marston were more interesting to me than John Marston himself.
Well said.
I guess is a good way to put it from my view. But like he was fine, and Rockstar, for a lot of their open world Grand Theft Auto type games, the story's kind of like okay, whatever, and the characters are kind of they're just typically bad people. There's not like any growth for the most part. Whereas like in Red Dead and Red Dead 2 there is, but it's just I don't know. Red Dead 2 is just infinitely better for the main character.
So Josh, I'm going to tell you about all the bright shiny things that have been distracting me from this game, but like tell me why I need to stick with it. Tell me like why should I be taking a weekend afternoon? Why should I be taking a full Saturday to play this game? What is it about it that's going to grip me?
I'm trying to think of how I could explain this without spoiling anything.
Yeah, no spoilers. Oh.
I know. It's I don't know. It's just like I said. I mean, I mentioned it before. The music's amazing. The minute-to-minute gameplay, it's okay. It's serviceable for the most part. Like I said, other than your weird stuff like your horse going off in directions you don't want him to and things like that.
Yeah.
But like just the different story missions, like in a lot of Rockstar games, the story missions to me are like just vehicles to continue the shooting and things like that. Yep. Whereas in Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm actually sitting there going like, I want to know what happens next.
Good.
I mean, if you played Red Dead Redemption 1, you kind of know the end result of all this stuff for the most part, but not how they get there. And it's just feeding that I want to know what happens next sort of thing. And you start caring about some of the people that aren't necessarily Arthur, but other people within your camp. And, as things progress, you want to know what's going on with each of them. And it's just, I really, really enjoyed the story.
The things that I know I've enjoyed already and that I know I'm going to enjoy more are just the simple act of like riding across the plains on your horse. Is just it's still that relaxing. The music is amazing. The graphics are amazing. You want to be in that world. It is. Like you could waste a lot of time there just doing the stuff like the hunting or just going from one mission to another. The only thing that,
and I have,
the only thing that does kind of bore me, and it's the same thing about all Rockstar games, is that when it comes down to it, when it comes to a mission, it's just the same kind of shootouts and it's just the same thing every time. Is there any more variety in missions? Is there any interesting hooks, or is it still like moment to moment? Don't be expecting much more than Red Dead 1 in terms of the gameplay of the missions.
I'm trying to remember if they had some of those things. Red Dead 1 devolved into shootouts in like every mission. Red Dead 2, I'd still say that's most of what you'll get, but there's other ones where like you're at a fancy dress party and you're trying to sneak into this house to steal something, or So there's like different stealth missions. You'll be rescuing people. Maybe you've got to go, I don't know, hog tie this guy and bring him back. But yeah, I mean, a lot of them still do devolve into shootouts. But the story that's happening in between those shootouts is really
makes it
really
worthwhile.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not, I don't know. I wouldn't call the gunfights and stuff boring to me. They're just simple because it's, again, I mentioned before, it's the same general formula. Just get in cover, shoot people in the head with Deadeye, and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's also things like, robbing trains that happens, or robbing different stagecoaches, or breaking into a bank, stuff like that. So there are shootouts, but they're all framed by different things happening.
Do you have any great, just ridiculous moments that happened while you were going about your merry way?
I mean, I did have one that was just kind of stupid. I took a stagecoach to somewhere, and the stagecoach, when you get off, was like right next to a train that was coming through town. And the stagecoach, once you get off, typically starts moving again, just drives off, and it ran right into the train, and all the horses died.
The one that I had in one of the first missions, you have to take an old horse and you have to trade him in, and then you get to buy another horse. Yeah. And earlier it had showed you how to hop off your horse and lead him. I can't remember what button press it was to lead your horse. And I was thinking, well, once I got to the place, it was a big barn that you bring the horse in. I was like, okay, I must have to hop off and, lead my horse in. So I hop off and turn around and punch my horse in the face. I was like, oh, that's clearly not the button I was meant to press.
Yeah. Well, so the button to jump on the horse is also the same button as to choke people. And there's a major city in the game, and every time I'm in there trying to get on my horse, the game reads it as choke the nearest pedestrian. So I have to run out of town, wait for the wanted thing to go away, pay my bounty, get back to what I was doing.
The Valentine Strangler.
Yeah, I know. No, the Saint Denis Strangler, but yes. Oh man. But
Elliot, are you going to be able to pick it up at all?
Yeah, I'm going to wait for the PC one though. I'm not in a huge rush, and given what happened with GTA 5 when I got it on PS3 and then PS4, and then I had a super capable PC that could crush that game, and I'm not going to buy it again. I'm not going to start it over. So it's going to be the same thing with Red Dead. I'm just going to give it a few months, and hopefully the PC will be out sometime next year.
Yeah.
And I haven't finished the first one yet. Would you say that having finished the first one kind of informs, or it enriches the experience of the second one?
Have you played any of the first one?
Yeah, I'd say maybe.
Did you get to Mexico?
First third of it or so. No, I haven't.
So you can really mainline it. The way I did it was mainline it. It was a complete opposite way that Josh did it. And it still took me, 3 days. It still took me, four proper nights playing it or whatever. Maybe a little longer than that. Maybe one full day and 3 or 4 evenings. But it's worth it.
Jeez.
It's a really good story. Now it does take a long time getting into it. There are some horrendous characters, really bad.
Oh my god,
just offensive and annoying. But the final act is top class. It's really, really great.
So playing what you have already, you already know the setup for Red Dead Redemption 2. You already know the general idea of what happens, but not a lot of the specifics. And because you haven't finished Red Dead Redemption 1, if you finish Red Dead Redemption 2, you still won't know the fate of some of the characters because they're still in Red Dead Redemption 1.
Okay.
There.
So in theory, you could play it in either order.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's not a lot of cross spoilers.
I mean, kind of, but not. I mean, yeah, I there is, but there isn't. I don't know how to put it. But just by playing Red Dead Redemption 1, and you know that the goal is to round up these last members of Dutch's gang, that tells you they're the last members of Dutch's gang.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I'm waiting for PC anyway, so I'll see if I can take some of this time until then to knock off Red Dead 1. It's supposed to be it's my brother's favorite game ever. He just raves about it.
Yeah.
And actually, maybe last year, I don't think it was earlier this year, but I tried to play Red Dead Revolver.
Oh, really?
Which...
Wait, does Carlos know he only has 8 months left to finish Red Dead 2?
He might have already finished it as far as I know.
Yeah, he's pretty good at this stuff. I wouldn't put it past him.
Okay.
He likes his games, and he's been playing a lot of Fortnite though. But I feel like when Red Dead came out, he must have hit it pretty hard.
Yeah.
He's finally building a gaming PC, which
Oh.
he wasn't sure
Good,
was going
good
to happen.
stuff.
Yeah.
Get that out. Got to get that out of the way.
Yeah. Got to do it now, sooner than later. But once you've got it, you can just live off Steam sales, man.
Yeah.
It
Totally.
doesn't matter how much those diapers cost. You can keep playing.
Yeah.
We're pulling for you, buddy.
All right. So anything else, you guys? I mean, Red Dead is pretty much all I've been playing. So
Lads.
Yeah. Wait, were you gonna
Go on ahead.
You want to? Yeah. Sure. I have really not a lot to say. I haven't played hardly anything. But I did play. I did play some Hidden Agenda with a group.
Great.
If you guys remember that game,
Great game.
It's like you download an app to your cell phone and you kind of it's kind of a choose your own adventure, but you do it with the group. You do by majority rules.
Mostly with a couple of quirks thrown in there. You can occasionally like override people and be sneaky, can't you?
Yeah, you can get kind of like you like overruling rights, basically, where if whoever has that, or if they end up doing one of those choice-based things, whatever they choose will override everyone else. And I think you can use one, right? Like you hit a button, and
I still have not played it, so I don't know.
we only went through the first couple acts, I think, and it didn't go over that well, actually. We found that it didn't seem like your choices had a lot of effect on what was going on. Like there was one scene where you're kind of approaching this house where there's a suspected criminal. You're like a cop, and you can either go straight in through the front door or check around back first. And we did check around back, and she just kind of like checked around back and was like, looks okay, and went right back into the door. So it was just kind of like, oh, I mean, maybe they do more later on, but like our first run through didn't hold the attention of the other people around, and they don't.
Oh, it didn't? The first time I played it with a group, we were all in.
Were they gamers? Because I feel like
no,
might help.
It's people like Doug's and
oh really?
Yeah, it was like Manu and Amanda and people. Yeah, it was like a completely mixed group.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, maybe you have to be in the right mood for it, but the crowd just was kind of like, okay, can we skip this part? Can we get to like the next choice? Because there was a whole lot of like story and cutscene in between like each choice, and then when you got to a choice, it didn't seem to make much difference. So I think people left more frustrated than anything.
That sucks.
Yeah. I was hoping it would go better. I haven't written it off totally. Like I want to try it with maybe like a different night, different group, different, who knows what the difference can be. But yeah, it was just kind of like there, we had more fun playing Jackbox that night instead. So.
Jackbox is always the winner.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. Another game I played, which I didn't even mention when we were chatting before this, I totally forgot I played it. A game called Dragalia Lost.
Oh, the new gacha game by Nintendo.
Yeah, it's a Nintendo gacha game. I didn't know it was coming out or anything about it, but I heard about it on the 84 Play podcast, and I think those guys worked on it as well.
Oh, cool.
And they love it, but they also love their gacha, and I have not a whole lot of patience for it.
Yeah.
But I fired it up, and it's free until you start having to pay money, and it's pretty pretty playable without having to give money. You can right. It's a little grindy if you don't, but you can get through it still. And it's basically like a turn-based RPG. Yeah. And
that was an action. Isn't it an action RPG?
Sorry, not turn-based.'re right. It's an action RPG.
Okay.
And you can play it one-handed, and it's surprisingly responsive. And I haven't played a fast-paced mobile game in a really long time. But playing this with swiping around and using like gestures to kind of make your character go around and do their attacks and stuff works so surprisingly well. I was actually having a good time, and I booted it up more than just the one time. Like I went back to play a couple times. I've kind of forgotten about it for the last couple of weeks, but I I don't know if I recommend it because it's not usually my speed, and I
Right.
know it's definitely not Stevo's. And
Yeah.
I was gonna say both of yours, but I think Josh, you enjoy your gacha every now and then.
I haven't played it. I used to. I haven't played it for a while. But even then, I wasn't really like enjoying so much as it was a hostage situation.
Yeah.
Like I downloaded Dragalia last. I booted it up and I played, I don't know, like 5 minutes, and then I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Delete.
You
Get rid of
always,
this.
yeah, that's always the end result of gacha for me.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, it's well done, and it is fun. I haven't gotten far enough to feel the pressure of needing to pay, but it's it seems okay. Story is your typical cliche anime tropey affair.
Yep.
There's a cool twist at the end of the first chapter that made me be like, oh shit, that's a little different, and I'm gonna maybe see what happens next. But yeah, I actually played a new game that hasn't been talked about on the podcast. Look at me go, guys.
We're so proud of you.
Elliot. Thanks.
I eagerly await your dissertation on Magikarp Jump next.
Yeah, whatever that is.
You know that was the Pokemon
that
game.
Pokemon?
It's a
Oh, I do remember hearing about it. I didn't play it though.
it's mindless. It's entirely mindless. I played for a bit. There's no gotcha. It's literally just tapping.
Oh,
That's all it is. But all right, Stevo, did you have anything else?
Yes. All of the games. I've been playing all of the games. And by all of the games, I mean like 10 minutes of all of the games. Because I've been playing games which you can play at 10-minute intervals on, obviously, the console that was made for this, Switch.
God of War? Oh, sorry.
Oh, fuck. How have I not played God of War yet, you bastards? So, Elliot gave me some Switch credit for my birthday back in October. And out of that, I was able to pick up Dead Cells, Into the Breach, and just recently, because it was on sale, and because I never thought Nintendo coins would ever be useful, but they actually translate pretty well to dollars. So I was able to pick up The Messenger as well.
nice.
So
that looks really good.
It is really fun. And now, okay, let's start there. Let's start with The Messenger. The Messenger is it's basically a Ninja Gaiden clone from. So Ninja Gaiden came out on the NES originally.
Yeah.
Any others before that?
No, NES.
I think you can skip the Ninja Gaiden introduction.
Well, anyway, it's a ridiculously difficult side-scrolling 2D platforming game where you are a ninja and you jump and you swipe at things with your sword, presumably. So The Messenger, same basis, only obviously it's updated for the modern day, and also it's got a fun little story thrown in that you're basically accidentally, you're a semi-competent ninja and you accidentally end up being the most important person and you have to deliver this scroll to wherever you're going, and that's why you are the messenger. Controls are really, really tight. It's got that thing that these games had, the 8-bit era, where if you get hit in the air, it knocks you off and you're basically going to fall to your death a lot. But it also...
Mega Man.
Mega Man and Super Castlevania 4 was the one that... Wait, was it Super Castlevania 4? Or was it Castlevania...
It's any of the Castlevanias.
Okay.
Fuck you up with that. Yeah.
But it also has, again, more of a modern day thing. It's got upgrade trees. So there's skill trees that you can upgrade. And one of the things that you can get is you can get a reaction jump if you get hit, that you can hit jump again to rewrite yourself.
Nice.
It's got a lot of different things in there. It's got I think it's got double jumps, and it's got a gliding move. As you move along in the world, basically you'll get to the next level and you won't be able to do a certain thing. So you'll go talk to your vendor, who is basically just there to make cheesy jokes, and it's got a lot of cheesy writing in it, but I've found it works pretty well. I've read a few reviews and stuff that people say they get sick of it, or some of it just doesn't land. I think it's cheap and cheerful. It's not doing much, but it's just a lot of fun. Apparently there's a big plot twist coming, and this shouldn't be a spoiler, or you know what, maybe I shouldn't spoil it. Basically, it's not just a Ninja Gaiden clone the whole way through. It switches up a little bit, and it's, you know, it gets a little more complex, shall we say. So I'll report back. I only bought that in the last couple of weeks, as I say, because it was on sale and I had Nintendo points. But been playing a little bit of that recently, just because the levels are pretty short, and it's a good one to play at a level before I go to sleep or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's one I'm kind of interested in. Not, I mean, I hated the old Ninja Gaiden games. They're just too fucking hard. But I am really interested in Dead Cells, though. I really want Dead Cells.
Yeah. So that's the next one I was going to get onto. Dead Cells, guys. It's called
a segue, Stevo.
It is the next Hollow Knight that you've been looking for. It has got that same just. It's going to grab you. You're going to want to play more and more and more of it. It's obviously it's much different from Hollow Knight in that it's not a Metroidvania. It's actually in some ways a roguelike. Well, I guess in most ways a roguelike. You're playing through levels. It is. They're randomly generated. They've got the same theme, but the actual layout of the levels is different every time. But you're playing through the same levels one after another. You're collecting blueprints for different weapons. You're collecting souls, which you can trade in for different upgrades, being able to refresh your health multiple times, or be able to get randomly dropped a better weapon when you're starting out your run the next time. Or it's got a little bit they kind of remind you a little bit of the upgrades in Rogue Legacy. I think you both played a little bit of that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't completely change the game when you're getting the upgrades, but it does help you out just a little bit. And I do feel like I'm progressing. It's also got that thing of you're just, as you're naturally getting better at it, you're gonna get further. There's definitely a combination of you're upgrading your player, but you're also just constantly getting more skilled at it. The thing about it is like you've got quite a bit of momentum as you're playing it. It's not exactly Twitch when you turn, when you're running in one direction and then you press the analog in the opposite direction. There's a little bit of a moment as you sway, and it's a little bit floatier. Well, I guess Hollow Knight was a little floaty in that way as well, was it?
Mm-hmm.
But it's got a really tactile feel. The combat is really good. It's really satisfying when you're just jumping about and using your different traps and bombs and slashing away at enemies at the same time. It's so satisfying when you get into a rhythm of it and you're like, oh, this is the one. I'm gonna get through it, and you pick up a good sword on this run. You're like, yeah, this is gonna be the one. I'm gonna get there, You guys would love it. Josh in particular, I know, because you demolished Hollow Knight and all of these other platformers. You would adore this. We gotta get you a copy of this.
I'm getting it at some point.
Yeah, I everything you say about it and everything I see about it, everything I hear about it looks like it's absolutely the next game I need to get and just play for hours and hours. Yep. But I don't tend to agree with roguelikes very well, or they don't tend to agree with me. But that said, of the roguelikes in the world, this still is the most appealing one. And I think I could really get into it, especially in my current streak of not doing a great job playing any games and having to progress and that being so daunting, knowing that here's the game that when I die, I start over no matter what, it somehow makes it a little more approachable, where I can just keep going and going and going.
You need to play Hollow Knight still.
What?
You still need to finish Hollow Knight.
I still need to finish Hollow Knight.
It's so good.
But I'm so intrigued by Dead Cells. That's going to be one of the first ones I got, I think, next year.
Okay.
The other thing about it, though, is as opposed to something like what was the one we just mentioned, Rogue Legacy, where you never know in what direction you have to go, and like it all feels a lot bigger and a lot more expansive, and that you're traveling out from the center of it, and it gets really, really difficult. There's more of a progression in this because you know the next level that you're going to. And even I would say in terms of stepping up from one level to another, there's a lot less of a difficulty curve than there is in, say, something like Spelunky, or, you know, where you're going from one to the next completely changes the game. This, I feel like the difficulty curve is pretty it's pretty approachable. And it's, as I say, it's so satisfying. You would really enjoy it, Elliot. Get it on Switch. That's what this is made for.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally.
It is just, it's a great game, and it's no wonder that it has been, you know, that it was up for a few game awards and stuff. But we'll get to that later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's coming up.
So the last of the three that I've been playing on the Switch is completely different from either of these others. It's Into the Breach.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I've heard a lot of good things.
It is so amazing. So it's a turn-based strategy game where you basically have 4 units. You're dropped on a map that's, you know, an isometric map. Enemies drop in after each turn. They can make moves. They're trying to destroy buildings, so they will line up their moves, and then you have to line up your moves and execute your moves before they execute theirs. And a lot of it is about it's a lot of it is physics based. If you hit one of these, that will knock them on to the next space. So if they were aiming perpendicular to a building, you could knock them along, and then they would be aiming to the next line and they would miss the building, and so on.
Nice.
Also, your different units have different attacks. Some of them have area of effect. Some of them you can only hit the square next to you. Some of them you can hit all the way along in a row. It's got this perfect mix of different tactics that you have to, you know, take into account. Every single turn you get one reset on each island. Or no, wait, on each island? No, on each level. So so you start off on an island. There's 4 different islands. If you want to beat the game, you have to basically kill all the aliens on all 4 of the islands or defeat them. But on each of the islands, I think there's something like you'll play 5 levels, maybe 6 levels, something like that. And each one is just slightly different map. There might be some different hazards on it. So, for example, there might be bombs being dropped by airplanes, and that will be shown by, you know, icons on certain squares saying this is where it's going to hit. Or there might be like earthquakes, which like take away a new row of the map on each turn, so it'll constantly like cut away a slice of the map as it goes on. So you have to make sure to be moving your units away from there as you go on, and hopefully knocking enemies towards that final one that you know is going to be taken out, you know. But it has got a little bit of storytelling in it as well. I actually Chris Avallone of Fallout New Vegas fame and Planescape Torment and Baldur's Gate and all these, he did some of the writing in it, and there isn't a whole lot of dialogue in it or story, but there's just enough that it lends it a certain kind of character and a certain kind of personality that it makes it all the better. Because so many of these things, you know, you look at it, it looks quite basic, but it's not. It's got that extra level of polish and extra level of craft, you know. It's really good. Oh, and the music is amazing, which I mentioned to this before we recorded. It was by Ben Prunty, and I knew I recognized the name because he also did the soundtrack for FTL, Faster Than Light, which I haven't actually played. And more recently, he did work on the Celeste soundtrack, which we all know is absolutely phenomenal as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Into the Breach is probably my second game after Dead Cells like first thing next year. I saw like I've seen clips of it. I've seen people talk about it, and it looks like Front Mission. It looks like the old school Front Mission games from like the Square Enix series, and
Kind of,
it
yeah.
looks like the SNES ones, like the way back when they first started it, and it's that charm. When I saw that, it was like just that art style is like, man, nostalgia boom, and I'm a complete sucker for strategy RPGs.
Yeah.
Fuck,
It is so good. And it's got a few different spins on it as well. Like at any point you can abort your mission and you like reset time and you can send one of your pilots back. So basically what you're doing is your pilots get XP as they kill enemies, and you know they get certain perks as they level up. So if you can tell, oh, this is all going to shit, like we're about to lose power, like all the buildings are going to get destroyed, you can be like, okay, I'm aborting this. I'm going to send my best guy back and I'm just going to cut and run basically. And that thing, and also having the one reset per map, just little additions that totally change the game and add that extra, you know, option that you're like, oh shit, can I do this? Can I make it through? Or should I just, you know, should I use this? Is now the time? And every little decision like that feels like make or break. It's so tense. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Damn. That sounds so good.
Yeah. And of course, the other thing about it is like the Switch sleep mode. You can just, and you pick it up the next time and you're like, oh, well, I know where I am in my, you know, in my current turn. It is made for this console. It's perfect.
Man, remember back in the days of Final Fantasy Tactics when you had to finish the entire fucking like hour and a half long fight in one sitting?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We're so spoiled now.
And then you realize you saved at this place when you shouldn't have saved, and now you have to restart the game.
Is that what you did?
No, I didn't. I luckily never had to do that.
Jeez.
But all right. So anything else, Stevo?
You can see why I'm getting a bit sidetracked from Red Dead Redemption, right?
Yeah, man.
No.
I just want all the games on Switch. I feel like all these games coming out right now, especially this year, starting with Celeste.
Yeah.
I probably starting with Hollow Knight, but that was 2017 where we were able to pick that up before our No New Games thing that we started doing. But starting with 2018, like Celeste in January, and then it was just like so many of these made for Switch perfect like 2D quick pick up and put down games just started rolling out, and that's what I've probably been missing the most this year, I've got to say. More than Spider-Man, more than Red Dead. I just want a collection of these Switch indies and Switch ports that have come out.
Well, there's plenty of them.
Yeah, I will have no shortage of things to buy next year. A lot of these actually even won some game awards,
Indeed,
if I might say.
They did.
So, well, I mean, one of the other things that happened this week was the Game Awards happened, 2018 Game Awards, and it was okay. I watched the whole thing. A lot of people expecting a lot of big announcements. There were some rumors that like Metroid Prime 4 or the Metroid Prime trilogy would be announced. They weren't.
Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
Switch port. It coming after last year, which was just bomb after bomb after bomb, just huge announcements, especially from Nintendo. Your hopes are so high, and then we just kind of, and I think it's because it aired the day before Smash came out, and Nintendo didn't want to distract from that. But it was pretty. There were a few good ones for sure, but it was.
They had some good awards though, I thought, for the most part. I mean, yes, and just like last year, they kind of just skip over about half of them and just kind of there's no presentation. It's just like, oh, and by the way, this game won this.
Yeah.
They did do that better though, because I felt like wasn't it last year they came back from commercial break and be like, during the break, these awards were given.
Oh yeah,
but this time Keeley at least ran through them real quick.
Yeah,
I think it was still 3 hours long.
Yeah, it was still super long.
Yeah,
So
and I think
long.
that is the issue. They clearly haven't found a way to give people their due time or whatever and still get through this. Because as you say, the difference between this and the Oscars, for example, is that we are sitting here watching it because we want to see trailers. We want to see announcements. We're sitting here complaining about an awards show for a lack of announcements. It's like, it's an award show. Are we being a little unfair here?
It's true.
I mean, awards are one thing. I mean, and that's fine. I don't know. I
agree. It's got to be entertaining.
You already have a bunch of different publication stuff that give their own, game of the year and stuff like that. I mean, this is just kind of like, the nominees are selected by a bunch of different publications, and then there's like a mixture of quote unquote expert vote and like community vote sort of thing that determines what actually wins.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I'm fine watching it, and I think some of the stuff they did was neat. Like they had the orchestra playing a lot of the live music, like the Red Dead Redemption 2 one was pretty cool.
The orchestra was cool.
They did like a mashup of all a bunch of Smash music.
You had Hans Zimmer on a fucking electric guitar.
Yeah, I know.
Rocking on the stage. It's like, what and why?
Yeah. And Joel McHale, of course, they're crapping on the event again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just there's a groove they haven't found, and I'm not sure what it is, because it's I know people, if they didn't have announcements, probably wouldn't watch it.
Yeah, it's a huge draw. It's the biggest draw. Otherwise, people don't really care, and they're also balancing like the East Asian attention it's getting, and you can tell that by all the esports emphasis they're putting out there, and it's and that's a huge part of their audience, is a huge part of the money they make. So I get them needing to do that, but at the same time, like, I don't care. Like, it's the Game Awards. Like, I don't care that Ninja won best person who plays games online. Like, who cares? I don't know. It's you can do a little bit of that, but it felt like a quarter of it, or close to that. It was,
but it's a big part of gaming. It is a big part of gaming. It gets a lot of people into games. This is Elliot and I yelling at a cloud, Steve. Okay.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine if like the Oscars did an award for people who sat and yelled at their TV during
best community movie reviewer?
Best critic.
There you go.
Right. So I know, and you can't compare it to Oscars. People keep doing that, and it's a totally different thing.
I mean, movies aren't really interactive.
Ways. Yeah, and just the nature of the awards, the Academy basically is the movie makers awarding themselves. It's just a wank fest, and this is at least journalists doing the awards. So whatever, they're different in important ways, but still they're definitely there's a lot of content in the awards that is very transparently there for the certain like high powered audience.
I will say it was at least a lot better than last year.
Yeah, it was better. The rockin' violinists were all wearing clothes this time. If you remember that from last year.
That's right. Oh man. All right. Well, I'm just going to run through a few of these that I thought were kind of interesting. Like, so like the best debut indie game, there was a Donut County, Florence, Moss, The Messenger, and Yoku's Island Express, and The Messenger won. So Stevo, congratulations. You're playing an award-winning game.
It was a good game. Did any of you, just quick question, play Florence? I heard it was a really good mobile game.
I didn't play it, but it's by the guys who produced Monument Valley.
Yeah. And Donut County is interesting. I've seen people play that one. It's pretty simplistic, but it's kind of neat.
I've heard Florence is about a breakup, and it's meant to be really a short game, but have a real, a real strong heart. So might have to check.
Well, Florence did win best mobile game, so
there you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see. Best strategy game. Battletech, Frostpunk, Into the Breach, Banner Saga 3, Valkyria Chronicles 4, Into the Breach. Congratulations, Stevo. You're playing another award-winning game.
Amazing.
It deserves to win this. Well, I guess, Josh bought me Valkyria Chronicles 4 for my birthday. So I guess I gotta play that to compare it. But Into the Breach, amazing, guys. Amazing.
So this one, I just want to bring this one up. It's not really all that interesting, but best family game. Mario Tennis Aces, Nintendo Labo, Overcooked 2, Starlink, Battle for Atlas, Super Mario Party. Overcooked 2 won. How is that a family game unless you're into fratricide?
Best family ending.
Yeah, that is not a game you play to keep your family together.
No.
Okay, sorry.
I need onions. I need onions. Get me some onions.
Why aren't you reading the recipe?
Don't leave it there.
Best role-playing game, Dragon Quest XI, Monster Hunter World, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, and Pillars of Eternity 2. I'll be honest, I really thought Dragon Quest XI was going to win this one, but Monster Hunter World took it away. And as much as I loved Octopath Traveler, I'm aware it has flaws, and I did not expect that one. But
yeah, I guess this was an interesting one. Maybe this is the sign of the times. Dragon Quest XI, much more of a regular RPG, single player focused.
Traditional.
More of a traditional RPG. But whereas Monster Hunter World being online co-op, it's interesting that won it.
Yeah,
it's a great game.
It's interesting that was in that category too. I thought. I wouldn't categorize that as an RPG.
I mean, it's like a hack and slasher with RPG elements sort of thing.
Yeah,
lots of people loved it. I guess there was a reason it was in here. A reason it was.
No, I'm not necessarily.
No, sure.
I'm not really complaining. I mean, it's just it just seems odd to me that it's.
But you know what's interesting?
Rather like an action game.
I wonder if you were to ask people from Japan if they were surprised that's in there, would they be like, "No, it's absolutely an RPG." You know, maybe this is something of a Western style of thinking that maybe we just don't get this.
Maybe. Moving on to best action game, you had Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Dead Cells, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Far Cry 5, and Mega Man 11. And the winner was Dead Cells. Stevo, you're playing another award-winning game.
My gosh, you have the best taste, Stevo.
I know. How did you do it? I don't understand.
What a great
game. Best independent game, we had Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of the Obra Dinn, and The Messenger. And Celeste won, and I have Celeste. I don't know. I think I got distracted by Hollow Knight, so I never actually, because I got them both around the same time, and I was playing around through Hollow Knight instead.
Gotta say about this one though, guys, what a lineup in that. Those 5 games are all like. I got to pick up Return of the Obra Dinn.
Me too. I really want to play that one.
But like any of those 5 would have deserved that. But definitely Celeste. I can't argue with that. Amazing platformer with great story.
Yeah, I agree. Best performance was also stacked. Brian Deckard as Connor from Detroit Become Human, Christopher Judge as Kratos in God of War, Melisanthe Mahout as Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2, and Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker in Spider-Man. Roger Clark won as Arthur Morgan, but honestly, I mean, apart from Detroit Become Human, not to disparage Brian's performance in there, I just don't care about that game. All those other 4 could have easily taken it.
Yeah, totally.
Let's see.
I think they should really expand that as well. It's a shame that there's only maybe it gets too Oscar-y, but if you did like best male performance, best female performance, it just kind of like. Yeah, but then it's eventually become Oscar's best like supporting, best. I don't know. But you've already got best game director. You've got best game. I don't know. Yeah, throwing out there.
Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of games, so I can kind of understand why you might want to like expand it a bit. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it seems like that's such a stacked list, and you're only one person wins it.
So best score or music: Celeste, God of War, Spider-Man, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, and Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not entirely surprised that Red Dead Redemption 2 won. It's got a great soundtrack. I was kind of hopefully pushing for Octopath Traveler personally, just because I really, really liked that soundtrack.
I want to give a shout out to Celeste. The Celeste soundtrack is phenomenal.
It is too. I just haven't really sat down and listened to the whole thing, but what I have listened to, it's awesome. But speaking of the score music, when the live band played the Red Dead music, it was really good.
Yeah.
That song was haunting. It was really good. Yeah. Good moment.
It's good when it plays in the game too. Art direction: Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Return of the Obra Dinn. Return of the Obra Dinn took it, which I could see justified. It's a very stylized game. It kind of looks like a 3D Game Boy game almost at times.
It's so unique. It's like nothing you've ever seen before.
Yeah,
it's so weird. Yeah.
Great. Let's see, best narrative: Detroit Become Human, God of War, Life is Strange 2, Episode 1, Marvel Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 took it, which is why you guys need to play it because the story is awesome. All right, well, let's just jump ahead then to the Game of the Year. There were a bunch of other awards too, but we're just going to kind of cover our highlights here. But Game of the Year between Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, God of War, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, God of War already beat Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption 2 in the best action game category, and it beat the rest of them here. So God of War is the Game Awards Game of the Year.
And the one game Stevo did not play these lists.
Guys,
congrats, Stevo. You are not playing a Game of the Game of the Year.
Get me that for Christmas, please. I want to play Dad of Boy.
Yeah, I can totally see it because I'd say gameplay wise and just the overall package, God of War does do a lot of things better than Red Dead Redemption 2. I think Red Dead's got a better story, but God of War it's got a good enough of a story and great gameplay that it mix all those things together. You've got a great game there.
Yeah, yeah. They had a pretty good moment when Christopher Judge, the kid who plays Boy, presented an award together, and you totally saw it coming.
Yeah.
But they had to do it.
I was
it was
waiting
just
for
like the kid had to read the winner, and he just sat there. And they just took a moment, and he goes, "Read it, boy."
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
the audience loved that.
Yeah. I think everybody was expecting that once they were both on there. It was great though.
Yeah, you had to.
So within all the awards awards being given out, they had some game announcements, and for the most part,
the most exciting part of the Game Awards usually, and we just briefly touched on this. I just needed more Nintendo on this list, but there were some good ones for sure. I'm excited about.
I think this was actually hinted at or leaked a couple days before, but Crash Team Racing is getting remastered. I'm excited for that because it's the best kart game aside from Mario Kart out there.
That'll be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it should be fun. Well, we'll have to see if Onrush is better because it's a free PS Plus game. Gotta play it first before we decide to buy Crash Team Racer.
Stanley Parable is getting a expanded version, and if you haven't played that game, it's a wonderful little thing. You could probably play for like 2 hours, and it's just silly and dumb. But there is more stuff. It's coming to consoles too. Yeah.
Lots of jokes in it. Lots of breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, the ad was great. It was just like, this is one of the best games of 2013. Yeah. Just look, and it just showed all these clips of The Last of Us winning all over.
Yeah.
And then they're like, at the end of the whole Stanley Parable, like, is coming to consoles thing, they're like, what the hell do you mean Last of Us 2 is coming out next year?
Yeah.
It was
pretty good. Other relatively big ones. Mortal Kombat 11 was revealed for coming out in April. A new Dragon Age 4 was teased, or whatever they're going to call the subtitle. But there's a new Dragon Age coming out at some point. Far Cry New Dawn, which looks to be a side game or like a direct sequel to Far Cry 5. One that I'm actually really excited for is Obsidian's new RPG called The Outer Worlds, which looks like a cross between Borderlands and Fallout, which those are two things I love. So I'm already ready for that one.
That's what we were waiting for, and it totally delivered.
Yeah.
It looked so good.
Yeah. I will say one. Go ahead.
Especially after Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Just totally imploding. And then Obsidian was just like, oh my God, they handed to us on a silver platter.
Yeah.
The timing was so good.
Yeah. I will just mention one more. There's Hello Games, the guys behind No Man's Sky. They announced a new game called The Last Campfire. They're calling it a short. So, like a relatively small game, but I just watch the trailer for it because the music for that trailer is amazing. Yeah, it's awesome. And there was one more. Supergiant, the guys behind Bastion, Transistor, and Pyre, revealed a new action game called Hades, which is actually available in early access now. I think it's on the Epic Store if you are into that sort of thing.
Those guys do great stuff. I'd be interested to give it a look.
Yeah, they've kind of like Bastion was their peak for me, and it's kind of been like a little rocky since then. So, excited to see them fucking pull it out.
Could be good. But yeah, that was the Game Awards. If you wanted, you could find it on YouTube now to go back and watch it.
Is it worth shouting out any other special moments in there? I particularly
Joseph Ferris Beck.
Yeah.
He opened it.
And he still doesn't know where the camera is when he's talking to Jeff.
I really enjoyed Matt Makes Games, their acceptance for the Games for Impact award.
Yeah.
So they won it for Celeste, obviously, which is a game which takes on the issue of depression and how it affects people, and how it affects people who actually who get through it, who are at the other side. And he had a really nice moment where the maker of that basically just gave a shout out to all those who had said that it had helped them through hard times, and that it made a big difference to their lives when they were battling depression. But just for them to remember, they're the real heroes there. People who try every day and who can get through it. It was pretty cool.
He had a good speech. I agree.
That was my moment as well. I wanted to bring up. He said for if this helped you come to terms with mental health in any way, just know that came from you. That change came from within you, and it wasn't the game. I thought that was just fucking great.
And then of course the other big moment was esports player of the year. It was Sonic Fox, who had was it Dragon Ball? What had he won?
Well, I mean, he plays a lot of fighting games, but I think specifically it was for Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah,
Fighter Z.
Fighter Z. Sorry.
Jeff Keighley kept saying Dragon Ball Fighters.
Well, because it's not Fighters written well.
Yeah, there's a space after the R, and they didn't put that in the teleprompter.
Yeah, but
he'll read it exactly. Dragon Ball
I'm
Fighters.
Jeff Keighley. What about us?
Yeah.
But yeah, he came out on stage and he was just, you could tell he was just super nervous and just not ready to be up there to talk. But it was like kind of endearing in a goofy sort of way. But
he was in full costume.
Yeah, he's a furry, so he dressed up as like a giant, Sonic fox, so a blue fox. But yeah, he gets up there and then at one point he's just like, I just like, cause I never thought I'd win this. Cause basically I'm black, gay, and a furry, everything Republicans hate. And everybody just started cheering for him then. And, he went double down on a lot of that stuff on Twitter later that night. It's kind of funny if you go look it up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it was just kind of endearing. Cause he was genuinely shocked and surprised that he was up there getting that award. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we got one last thing to discuss before we sign off for this episode. What do you guys want for Christmas?
Yeah. So this is the end of our No New Games 2018 pact. We're just about at the other end of the tunnel. And one of the loopholes that we have is we can get each other gifts on birthday and gift giving holidays. And even though this one is a week before we're finally opening up the floodgates, we can still get some in a week before the end of the year here. Yeah, man, I've got such a long list. As I said, most of these are indies. I'm really, really struggling not to put Obra Dinn on here and to hold out for a potential Switch port.
Oh, that one's on mine.
Because it's only Windows, right? It's only like Steam right now, right?
Yeah.
I think it's Windows and Mac, and I just don't see myself enjoying it as much if it's not on Switch. I hate to say that, but obvious contenders otherwise are Smash. I never had Spider-Man, and as I mentioned, Celeste, Into the Breach. That, like, I don't know. I have to choose between those. Those are pretty much my going.
Buy me God of War. How many times do I have to keep telling you this? Buy me God of War immediately. Stop recording this. Get off. Go buy me God of War. And
Elliot, I don't like the way that he's demanding this. I think I'm going to get him something else. This is just rude.
And the other one I want is Return of Obra Dinn. Those are my two top, and there's nothing else I need. Oh, Josh, you were talking about getting Prey Moon Crash. That sounds pretty good as well. I'm kind of tempted by that, but I reckon I've got a lot of other things going on, so I might not get to it yet anyway.
A side note, I had a friend give me an early Christmas gift with Prey in the DLC. So, for me, I mean, it's been rough. I haven't been able to play a new release all year.
Jesus
And
Christ.
so,
You're such a prick.
and so, yeah, no, but mine are mostly indies too, and we've covered most of them. Return of the Obra Dinn is one of them. Dead Cells is one I'd like to look at. Valkyria Chronicles for the Switch. Well, I guess Valkyria Chronicles 4, although honestly, I might debate a double dip there just because the first one's great and being able to play it on portable is awesome. But yeah, those are the main ones. I don't know. We'll have to see. I have to go back and look at all what's come out because it's been an amazing year.
Yeah, it certainly has.
Did any of us play a game that Josh didn't play? Because we definitely played games Stevo didn't play. You guys definitely played games I didn't play.
I played
but
Dead Cells, Into the Breach, and The Messenger.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, and Valkyria Chronicles 4 after I get off.
I'm mostly thinking of like major releases, but yeah, okay.
I would say
That's
Valkyria Chronicles 4 is probably the biggest
one.
kick in the nuts for Josh. But yeah, we could just buy him that.
But it's just, yeah. He did not really feel the squeeze of the pact.
I felt the pain in other ways. Just because my nephew's here and he's buying his own games does not mean I do not feel pain in other ways because of that.
I don't believe you.
Oh.
I don't believe a word of that.
Oh, I do.
In fairness, yeah.
I told you stories earlier, Elliot.
War stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that
I think that's all.
I guess we'll probably work out the details of the Christmas list, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some games from you guys.
You guys are playing Undertale, right?
Yep.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, and we're also gonna try to get Eric from Same Team Yell back on here sometime next year. That gives us a 12-month window. I know. I just realized what that sounded like. Sometime early next year is the hope. Because he's been still playing games, as we mentioned, with his Switch, and he has some things to say. So
okay, well, I'm gonna pick you both up Dead Cells before we chat to him next.
Yeah,
so that we can all have a good chat about it.
I'll tell you what the ending's like.
Jesus,
we hate you, Josh.
That is not how this works at all.
All right. Take us home, Elliot.
Yeah, all right, guys. Good episode. Good to see you guys again. And we'll next episode we'll all be in the same place, same time, single mic recording again.
Woo.
So look forward to that. In the meantime, you can catch us on our website, ratherbecast.com. You can follow us on Twitter at RBPcast, at RBPStevo, at RBPElliot, at RBPBill. Actually,
RBP Bill.
That's RBP Josh. We're on Facebook. You can find us wherever podcasts are sold. Ours is free though, so start there and then give us 5 stars for being free. 4 stars also works as well. We're on YouTube and yeah, that's about it.
We should Twitch too.
Yeah,
Rocket
it's hard to say that we stream on Twitch anymore, but if we did, it would be on twitch.tv/ratherbyplaying.
It's been a busy few months.
Yeah, you can probably find our old video on demands there.
Videos on demand.
Videos on demand.
Video on
yeah.
demand.
That's got to be the one.
VODs. All right. Is that all of them, Miss Elliot? We got it covered.
Yeah, I think that's it. You'll find our podcasts. Every episode's on YouTube, and all our video on demands end up there as well. And new announcement. And I think we've been doing this since the last one. And I forgot to mention, but we are now on Spotify as well.
Nice, good work.
Spotify podcast. Yeah, check us out there. Every episode still free. So.
It's the selling. That's the selling point.
Anything at all. We're actually the one free podcast. So tell your friends.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys in about 2 weeks. Take care and play your games.
Yeah. Bye-bye now.
Sayonara.